And welcome to the breakdown. That might be an overly dramatic way of putting it. On the other hand, that's one of the things about it is everything seems overly dramatic. I didn't want to just do a video where I sit here and whine about how bad everything is, or because nothing is actually bad, but how bad I feel. That just seems like it would be annoying and boring for everyone. It seems annoying and boring to me, so, the whole point of this channel was to talk about depression, so being here in the throes of it seems disingenuous to not acknowledge it, at least. So I thought maybe I would just describe what it's like for people who aren't depressive. To kind of point out what the struggles are, and maybe hopefully show folks who are depressive that it's not just you. For me, it always starts with anxiety, and usually my anxiety is something that I can at least kind of mitigate, for lack of a better word. And then some combination of circumstances and internal stuff cranks up the anxiety to the point that I basically can't deal with it anymore. And I think the pattern is actually made worse by me trying to keep a lid on it, trying to mitigate it. I mean, not mitigating it is not better. But basically, if the anxiety is cranked up to a certain level for a certain period of time, I think it just kind of exhausts everything in my brain, and I just crash. With computers, if you leave them on all the time, just because of the quantum nature of the thing, teeny tiny little errors happen all the time, and they build up over time. And the harder the system is working, the more you're making it do, the faster those errors build up until eventually something crashes. And that describes my brain pretty well. Or my mind, or my consciousness, or not. So when a major depressive episode hits, I mean, all of the descriptions that you may have seen are accurate as far as they go. it's like a lot of contradictory stuff at the same time. It's an example for me. It all starts with anxiety, and the anxiety hasn't gone away. It's still there. So there's this baseline level of managed panic that's just kind of always there, overlaid with a blanket a big heavy wet blanket of seawater. I don't know why seawater, just a big heavy wet hot blanket. It's just heavy. Of course, you have to still function. And so, despite the fact that systems aren't working properly, you have to push through and keep doing. I was describing it yesterday as like if your brake pads are gone and every time you use your brakes it's just metal grinding on metal. That's sound. Or if your car is like completely out of oil and just you can hear and you can feel that friction, that grinding. And that's kind of what it feels like. Like I can remain minimally functional, go to work, do the things, but the system is overheating. The engine is overheating. What I find there, when I'm trying to push through and stay functional because it doesn't feel like there's any other option, I find my tolerances are incredibly small. My patience is minimal. It's a feeling of just utter exhaustion. And the weird thing is, I can tell it's not in my body. It's not in my muscles. You know, when you haven't gotten enough sleep and then you have to do something physically demanding, your body is just, exhausted. Your muscles is like, I can't even lift my arm hardly. It's exactly like that, except it's not in the muscles. It's in the nerves, I guess. I'm wandering around in a fog as if I've gotten no sleep, no matter how much sleep I get. And every action feels like it takes 3 times the energy it normally should. And I've got no energy to put into it. I know all of this must sound very ambiguous and vague and confusing, and it is confusing. Maybe if we knew more about what's physically happening inside the brain and the nervous system, during a major depressive episode, you know, we would have better analogies or better descriptions, but all I can talk about, all I can say is how it feels subjectively. I hope this is possibly helpful or at least informative. Who knows? It might even be entertaining for some people. Yeah, whatever. Whoever you are out there, whatever you're doing, you will get through it. Wherever you're at, it's temporary. This will pass. So stick with it. Take care of yourself. And I'll hop back in another week or so.